Well, I hope you had some fun working on your cropping challenges. We have two images here for you to work with, as you know. And let me just show you a couple of different solutions, and you can see how they compare with yours. And let me emphasize, there's no one way to do this, but cropping, as you know, as we've been talking about throughout, can make a huge difference in what the overall appearance of the image is. So we'll go ahead and make our virtual copy, and I often like to put up that rule of thirds to help me fine-tune my asymmetry and placement of the key elements in the image. When I do an evaluation of this church image, now it's a pretty nice looking image. It's got nice contrast against the sky, gets some nice white snow. It's kind of right smack dab in the middle of the image. It's a little bit off to the right, so it's not too bad. There's a little bit of right to left asymmetry, but I think we can improve it a little bit. When I look at some of the details of this image, I look back here, and this is a little bit of eye clutter back here. Also, when I look over on this side here, these two framing trees are nice, but this back here, I think I'd like to get rid of that, and maybe this fence back here, just to clean it up. And then we've got an awful lot of sky up here. Sky is nice, but a little bit goes a long way, and same thing for the snow up front. So when I would do a crop of this, I might take this and pull up the right-hand corner and get rid of most of that visual chaos out here in the background. How tight I want to get? Well, it depends. There's some nice snow right on the edge here. I might snug it up right next to that. I might need a little bit of red on the corner, but I want to get rid of most of that. All right. And how much snow do I want to get rid of? Well, I want to have a little walk up to the steps there, but not too much more than that. So we can get rid of, or again, look at the border area and you see what you're losing, and what we're throwing away is not much to look at. All right, then we'll go to the upper left-hand corner, and we're going to pull it in and pull it down, and I'm going to pull it down far enough so I still have a little bit of breathing space so that spire can still point towards the heavens. And then I'm going to pull it in to get rid of most of the chimney and that background area of that image, and then hit that crop key. And you might decide that you want to even crop it in a little bit more. We could make a second virtual copy of that and even work on it some more, and you can compare the two. Maybe you want to get rid of just a little bit more of that, or maybe pull it in all the way to the side. Lots of options for us here. I think I might just fine-tune the crop a little bit that way. There we go. And then we can go back and we can look at the original crop and then the fine-tune to see which one we like better. And both of these I like better. I like the loss of visual confusion. There's not quite as much sky, more emphasis on the church itself. And there are other options here. Of course, you might have gone this route where we'll just take this, make one more virtual copy here, and let's go right to the crop tool. You might have decided, well, I'm all about the front of this church, all right? I really want to just see a portion, just the front of this church, and get rid of most of that snow there. Maybe just have all those, just a corner of the steps, just come up right between the first set of steps and the second set of steps, and just have about the tower of the church and none of the background, and see offset just a little bit to the right for the asymmetry of this image. So lots of ways to crop this image to simplify it, make it a little bit more visually appealing. Okay, how about the other image? This was a fun one. Lots of interesting opportunities here as well. We take this to the crop, and we've got row houses here, which are pretty interesting. We've got some interesting image elements. I love these. I love this post. I'm not so enamored with all this. This is a lot of visual noise in here, and I'm not sure about this. So let's do our first crop here, getting rid of all that noise in the foreground, and see how it immediately changes the aspect of this image, giving us a nice long panorama look, which emphasizes the row of the houses. Here, the row of the houses is visible, but it's not really emphasized nearly as much as it is in an image like this. Where I place this bottom really kind of depends upon some of the detail that I see around here. I don't want to lose too much snow, and I don't want to crop off the bottom of this pole. I want to make sure that's all in there. So something about like this for my first crop. I'm happy with the top. I don't want to take any more off because I've already chopped off some of those trees there. And then let's go back here, and let's just make another copy of that one just to make a fine tune and see how we like taking out some of that clutter on that left-hand side. Don't want to come in too tight because we want to leave some nice breathing room here. And then let's go back and look at our three copies. Press the N key, and here's the original, and here's the first crop, and here's the second crop. When I look at this, the one that appeals to me most visually, where my eye goes, is this one up here because of its simplicity. And why? Because these trees don't add much to it. In fact, there's quite a bit of the tree that's above the image, so it's just kind of visual clutter. So this would be my favorite of the three. So I hope you had fun during the crop exercise. And once again, as you get more and more practice, you become more and more powerful as a cropping agent.